Alvaro Martin and Raul Alegre on the call with John Sutcliffe on the sidelines at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And you can always watch it on the ESPN app from anywhere. And speaking of Raul, he is here with us today as he gets ready for the game. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and you know, Booger, Booger is also part of the international broadcast. He'll be serving the fine football fans of Australia and New Zealand, yes?
I've been told there are certain kinds of meat that I can and cannot say that I eat as we're on the broadcast.
Okay, good.
He has to know the metric system, by the way.
Yeah, no more feet, no more second.
No yards, it's got to be meters and kilograms.
I know, I can't wait. Listen, let's talk about this game with both of you, though. Patriots O-line has done a very good job of keeping Tom Brady clean, important for a 41-year-old quarterback. But this time they've got two words, Aaron and Donald, among other things. Who wins in this this matchup?
Well, if they don't put three people on me, eventually Aaron Donald is going to win. His ability to be physical at the line of scrimmage, come off the football, and make their guards susceptible. If you look at him here against the Arizona Cardinals, the inside hand he uses to set up his speed rush. That's his number one rush outside. His number two rush is I'm going to hesitate on Cam Irvin. I'm going to make the guard sit down, and then I'll go to my speed. He loves to come outside. His changeup is coming inside as a rusher. When you talk about Aaron Donald, also in the run game, I'm going to run away from him. Nah, here's a guy, if you run away from him, I'm going to swim the blocks, hit the fullback, get in the backfield, and I'm going to penetrate. Speed, elusiveness, but this is what I love here, power. One guy, two guy, I can't get to the quarterback. I'll just throw the guard center into the quarterback. He's the best defensive player we've seen in the National Football League in a long, long time. Some may say he's the best player, and how New England decides to deal with him is ultimately going to turn out how they and if they can win this game.
And they also have Ndamukong Suh. And the one thing I noticed is they line up these guys all over the place at different techniques along the line of scrimmage. But one thing going for the Pats is that four of their offensive linemen have been together for 3 years now, especially the interior three.
That consistency has served them well, and you're right about Ndamukong Suh. He will tell you, and so will Rams coaches, that he's playing some of the best football since they've seen him in the last two games. How about Raul, the Rams wide receivers against that Patriots DBs?
I would have to go the short answer with the Patriots defensive backs. I like what they did against Kansas City, jamming the receivers at the line of scrimmage. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, one reception, 4 receptions. They use many different combinations. They're very difficult to prepare for. Just a nickel, I've seen them use a 4-5, a 2-4-5, a 3-3-5, sometimes 6 DB, sometimes 7. However, Booker, the Rams receivers present a different kind of challenge because usually, they line off close to the tackles with 2 or 3 guys off the line of scrimmage. They get free releases, and you must also include their running backs here because that's how Kansas City got back in the game in the fourth quarter.
When you look at the Rams receivers, you're talking about small guys. These guys are quick, elusive. They want to get into the routes. If you notice what the Patriots did to the Chiefs, they said, you know what, we're going to be physical with Travis Kelce. We're going to put the safety over the top of Tyreek Hill, and we're going to put our best corner, Stephon Gilmore, on Sammy Watkins. Now, fast forward to this matchup against the Rams. I think we'll see Gilmore against Robert Woods. I think they'll double-team Brandon Cooks, and they're going to make everybody else not named Brandon Cooks beat them. And I think that's the matchup, maybe Higbee, that they're going to have to explore for the Rams.
Listen, third down conversion is important in any game, certainly in a game of this magnitude, which means if you're the Rams, you better know where Julian Edelman is because he's going to be in the mix. How do they defend him?
Well, Edelman likes to work the middle of the field, and so I have to take that away. Take the inside releases away. Be physical with him. It drives me crazy when you give slot receivers and tight ends free access to your defense. Make it hard for them. Make it tough. Make it physical. I expect that's what they'll do to Edelman.
Well, one thing that I saw the Rams DBs do very well was take Michael Thomas out of the game. They didn't follow him. They used the combination. Some guys would double him at different times. They normally have Aqib Talib on one side. They have Marcus Peters on the other side. They don't really switch them very much. And definitely I expect them to double up Edelman. I think Gronkowski and James White are going to be a key factor on third down.
All right, Raul, you're a kicker, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in homage to you and what we saw during the season, how about our best kick six, if you will, the best kicks and punch of the season? Let's go through what? How about the hit of the year from Matt Bosher here, Falcons and Panthers, Week 16, Kenyon Barner off the kickoff return, but I love it.
I never had a hit like that in my life. I usually got run over.
Listen, you're not, nope, I got this.
How many times are we going to play this?
A lot. I know you don't like it, but we're going to do it.
Come on with the pose.
And then he's flexing.
He flexes. All right. Adam Sam Vinatieri, the all-time scoring record. Colts and Raiders Week 8, a 25-yard field goal to become the NFL's all-time leading scorer. He surpassed Morton Anderson with that kick.
I don't have the best kick of all time in the snow against Oakland back when they won their first Super Bowl championship.
Wow. How about Graham Gano, ladies and gentlemen?
Tiene altura, tiene profundidad, va a llegar, va a llegar. ¡Ganó, lo ganó! 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 ¡Señor! ¡Ganó, lo ganó! ¡Ganó, lo ganó! ¡Yo sí le voy a los Betes! ¡Taca, taca, 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 taca!
And we got the translation for that?
Well, we have Raul here.
We're a little bit more controlled than that during our broadcast.
Oh, come on, don't be. Don't be. Do you ever throw a pass, Raul?
No.
Oh, man.
I was the decoy in one fake field goal.
You know what? That counts. We'll count it. That's Matt Prater right there. He gets it done throwing the field goal. All right. Fake punt extraordinaire. Packers-Rams Week 8. Johnny Hekker back to punt, but no, not so fast. Hekker passes to Sam Shields to get the first down.
How about Shields on the route, though? We keep talking about the throw. Like, Hecker's been throwing since he was 5. What about the nice little route by Shields to stop, turn around, catch the ball? That's more impressive than the throw.
It is clear you're in no mood to give the kickers credit.
Not really. Listen, all kickers do is kick and go back inside while we practice.
After hanging out with the international guys, he'll change his mind.
Oh, okay, good. Those Australian and New Zealand folks will cure what ails him. All right, where are we here? Greg Zuerlein coming up, Clutch. Here we go. The NFC Championship game. This is overtime to win it. 57-yard attempt sends the Rams to the Super Bowl. That's a big one, ladies and gentlemen. It is
he
good.
He tied the game to send it into overtime with a 48-yard field goal, which probably was more pressure-packed than this particular kick.
That's right. You know, it's interesting because that kick gets all the attention, but you're right. Already he had done his job.
I'm glad.
Okay.
His only job is to kick.
Wow. Any of those you saw there impress you? Anything?
Yeah, the one that Zuerlein hit, because to me, that's pressure. Okay, if you make that kick, we're going to the bowl. I like that.
All right, let the record show that Booger gave Zuerlein credit. I like it. All right, Raul, good luck over the weekend. We'll be listening and watching.
Looking forward to it.
I don't know what to say about you in New Zealand, but it ought to be fun.
Just don't mention the wrong word.
All right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Just don't do that. Surprised in Seattle, not particularly after return to the playoffs.
Correct. Presented by Tostitos.
We've seen Russell Wilson put together a highlight reel of great plays over the years. He's thrown 196 touchdown passes so far in his NFL career, the third most by a player in his first 7 seasons in NFL history, behind Dan Marino and Peyton Manning. Russell's 75 wins as a starter, the most ever by any quarterback in his first 7 NFL seasons. Russell Wilson is with us this afternoon, brought to you by Bose, the official headphone of the NFL. And Russell, congratulations. You know, the Seahawks really finished the season strong. I know you came up short in the wild card game against the Cowboys, but I think a lot of us thought it'd be a rebuilding type of year. So when you look back, how do you view the 2018 season?
Well, I think it was a great progression. I think a lot of people thought that we were going to go, 2-14 or whatever it was, and you have to be able to ignore the noise. You have to be able to focus on what you can do as a player, as a leader, but also as a team, and I thought we did a really, really good job. I think people should watch out for what we're going to do for years to come. I'm really looking forward to all the young guys we have. We got a lot of star-studded players that are young on the defensive side. Think about Flowers, our corner. You think about Shaquille. You think about both of the Griffin brothers. You think about obviously Bobby Wagner playing middle linebacker, and then the guys we have. Tyler Lockett had an unbelievable year. We got a lot of players that can make some plays.
Changing of the guard for you. You're the old guy now. You got a lot of these young kids, and you're certainly not old, but it is a young team.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing that you as a team need to improve on going into next year?
Well, I think we got to continue to find ways to finish games, finish moments. There's these I call it gap plays, game-altering plays that happen within the game. And I think that as you grow, as you continue to build, I think you find ways to do those things. Find ways to execute, find ways to not get penalties in certain situations, understand where the momentum changes and where you can feed off of it. I think we do a really good job in the games in fourth quarters, and how do we do that throughout the game in crucial moments as well.
It's funny to hear you say people thought you'd go 2-14. I don't know about that, but I would agree with you that the expectations weren't sky high. Yeah. In all honesty, what did you think going into the regular season?
Well, I really, once I got to OTAs, sit down in the meeting rooms, you go to practice and you kind of get in the weight room with the guys and you start working out again. Even before that, when you're doing individual work with guys and throwing around in LA and California just trying to get ready, that's when you really see it. That's when you see where this can go. And you never know until you put the work in, right? But once you kind of see and get around the culture of what we're trying to do, I think Coach Carroll does a tremendous job of that. But also, as players, we really embrace that. And we got Bobby Wagner on one side. I've been fortunate to be on this team for a while. We kind of know how we want it to go. And we were able to do that.
Russell, like a lot of us, you were at the Pro Bowl last week in Orlando. It's been a busy couple of weeks. And we got to see some of your teammates. Kamara, Zeke, these guys play a few snaps on defense. Did you feel slighted?
Well, I shouldn't go on the defensive side. You don't want to see me play defense.
Why not?
But I played some corner back in the day, but I'm not sure if I'm covering some of those guys. But, the cool part was watching, Kamara get in there and watch Saquon rush off the edge and actually get to the quarterback. It was actually kind of entertaining.
Russell, you got 1 year left on your deal. Pete Carroll has said it's a priority to work out an extension. How much would you like to get that done before you go back to training camp and have it out there and have the question?
Well, I think that's important. I think it'd be great to get it done beforehand. We'll see what happens. I take one day at a time. Obviously, I love Seattle. But we'll see what happens. It's part of the business. You just have people to help handle that and everything else. But I do love going out there and playing football.
Tom Brady said 45. Do you have a number set in mind?
Yeah, I'm in that range too. I want to play as long as I possibly can. I'm hoping for another 15 years. I think a lot of it is I call it prehab. What do you do? Most people do rehab after they get hurt or whatever it is. I'm a big believer in the longevity of everything. So what you're putting, the time that you're putting into, training every day, there's no real off days. You got to be doing something every day. So every time you wake up, you got to be thinking about that. And I think about the long term.
But are we eating avocado ice cream and all that stuff that Brady eats?
Listen,
come on.
I'm from the South.
You can have fun and do this too now.
I'm from the South, so I don't eat avocado ice cream as much
I'm
as
from
Tom.
the South. We fry our avocado ice cream, and then it works out just fine. Then we'll eat it.
Yeah, we're in ATL right now. So.
Yeah, there's no. I don't even think they have avocados. Russell, as you look ahead to the rest of the offseason, from a personal front, if you do want to play 15 more years or whatever, what's the most important thing for you right now to do before things heat up again?
Well, I think it's you recover, but you also continue to learn how to push. I think you continue to study the game. A lot of guys, they take so much time off, in my opinion, mentally, which I think is a good thing to do your vacations, have your fun, but also you got to find you set your schooling hours in a way. You kind of set an hour a day, just kind of study some film and study your playbook a little bit, study other players, study the game. I'm a big competitor, so I go watch a lot of basketball. I watch a lot of baseball. I watch a lot of other sports as well, so I can see the competitive edge that you can learn from.
Will you work out again with the Yankees?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go for a couple of days again.
And what do you get from that?
Well, they've won 27 world championships.
So
I'm
there's
trying to find a way to win as many championships as possible. I think a lot of it's about the culture, about how your language that you speak, having a limitless mind, the things you speak about, things that you think about. Because the thing is, if I'm going to play for another 15 years, there's going to be a cycle of players. And it doesn't matter who comes in and who comes out. You got to make sure that you're trying to show those guys the way as long as you play.
Which part of that have you taken back to your team? And you can say, I implemented this from what I learned with the Yankees in training camp.
Well, I think Coach Carroll does a tremendous job. I think we feed off of each other. I think a lot of the players understand what we're trying to do. I think the biggest thing is how you practice, how you prepare. And Bobby and I always have a line. We always say, don't get bored with consistency. Too many people get bored with it in this new age and everything else. So I think staying with it.
And let's fast forward to this matchup. Everyone talks about Patriots, Rams. You've game planned against the Rams twice. We know take away Aaron Donald. So as you're game planning to make plays against this defense, where do you see the holes? Where are the weaknesses, or where are the points you want to try to emphasize where you guys can make plays?
Well, if they can get to the second level in the running game, that's key. I think also, too, in the passing game, there's going to be those game-altering plays, those gap plays. Yep. Those guys can cover. Talib's a great cover corner. You got Peters as well. These guys can really lock down some guys. But I do think there's going to be opportunities in the game where you get that one big shot, and Tom, he knows how to execute on those moments. So I'm sure Tom will find those moments within the game.
One last question. We know who will be prepared, and that's the New England Patriots. They've certainly done it often enough. I expect the Rams will be as well. You have a winner?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. Man, it's hard to go against Tom.
Right?
I think
until proven otherwise.
I think Tom's pretty special. I think Tom will find a way. I do think it'll be an exciting game. I think it'll come down to the wire, and we'll see if Tom can make the last play.
Boy, they're going to be mad with you in the West, boy.
They're already mad with me.
That's all right. He's probably
exactly.
Russell, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.